All right, let's talk about something really important today, addiction. We're going to explore how complementary therapies can play a huge part in recovery, and we're looking at it all from the perspective of Osman, a master healer who's been in this field for almost 50 years. So yeah, let's get into it.
So let's get right to the big question. Can things like energy healing and yoga actually help someone beat a drug addiction? It's a massive question, And the answer, well, it's not a simple yes or no. It's a little more complicated, and it's so important that we get it right.
Okay, so here's our game plan. We'll kick things off with the addiction dilemma itself. Then we'll get into a pretty surprising two-part answer. We'll cover the non-negotiable first step, look at the real role of healing, see how it all fits together in an integrated approach, and finally, map out a clear path forward for you.
First up, let's tackle the addiction dilemma, because it's really important we're all on the same page about what addiction even is. And trust me, it's probably a lot broader than you think.
You see, addiction is kind of like a two-headed beast. You've got the physical side, where your actual body chemistry gets all out of whack, and then you have the psychological part, that mental grip that's so hard to shake. And we're not just talking about illegal drugs here. It can be legal stuff like painkillers. It can be food like sugar, or even habits like smoking cigarettes.
So, back to that main question. Can these therapies help? Well, here's the curveball. The answer is both no and yes. And honestly, understanding why it's both is probably the single most important thing you'll take away from this. And that's not just me saying it. Here it is, a direct quote from our guide Osman. The answer to it is, firstly, no and yes. Now, I know that sounds like a riddle, but it's not just a clever saying. It's the entire framework for how to approach recovery successfully. Let's unpack what he means.
Okay, here's the breakdown. The no part is an absolute must-know. Energy healing, yoga, they are not, I repeat, not a replacement for professional medical treatment, period. The yes, though? That's where the power is. They are an incredible supplement that can make the medical treatment so much more effective for the long haul. So let's really drill down on that no, because it is the absolute foundation of everything. Before you even think about anything else, your first step has to be getting professional medical help. This part is completely non-negotiable. And here's why that's so critical. For a lot of addictions, you can't just go cold turkey. It's not about willpower. The withdrawal symptoms can be so severe, we're talking physically dangerous. Your body needs to be under medical supervision to get through that safely. So what does that foundation look like? It's a clear 3-step process. 1, go see a doctor, get a medical consultation. 2, find a specialist, someone who really knows their stuff in drug rehab. And 3, use the support systems they have in place. That is the bedrock you build your recovery on. Okay, so once that rock-solid medical foundation is there, now we can get into the really hopeful part, the yes. This is where we talk about the role of healing and how these therapies come in as your powerful ally.
So, how exactly do they help? Well, they can make a permanent recovery so much more likely. And that's huge, because we all know relapse is a real challenge. These practices help you build the mental toughness to stick with the program. They can even act as a kind of barrier to stop an addiction before it starts. It's all about getting back in the driver's seat of your own mind and body. And look, this idea of combining medicine with healing, it's not just some nice theory. It's a real integrated approach, one that's been guided and perfected by an expert with decades of real-world experience. And that is not an overstatement. Osman himself calls this combo of modern medicine and ancient healing practices a recipe for massive success. It just makes sense, right? You want to use every single tool in the toolbox that's proven to work. So let's properly introduce the expert who's guiding us through this. His name is Osman, and he's also known as the blind Muslim yogi. And his perspective is just so powerful because of his unique life and all his years of practice. And his experience is just, wow. Get this, he's been a practitioner for almost 50 years. He's a master-level energy healer. He's worked with thousands of patients all over the world. But you know what's most important? He always insists on a holistic approach that starts with medical supervision. He never skips that step. So, we've looked at the problem, we've unpacked that whole no and yes answer, and we've seen the integrated approach. Now, let's bring it home. Let's talk about your path forward. What's the next step? If you only remember one thing from our time together, please let it be this. You don't have to fight this battle by yourself. In fact, you shouldn't.
There are people, there are systems just waiting to help you. If you want to explore this path more, the best place to start is Osman's website. Just go to yogawellness786.com. You'll find a ton of resources and all the contact info you need to get professional support. And hey, while you're there, here's a really easy first step you can take literally right now. Download the free 5-minute yoga and meditation program. It's a super simple, no-pressure way to just start feeling what these practices are all about. So I'm going to leave you with this final thought. This whole thing isn't about solving everything all at once. It's just about building a little momentum. So after all this, just ask yourself, what is one small step you can take on your recovery path today?